Ho, ho, ho. Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, it's just 8 days until Christmas 2020. Christmas Eve is on the doorstep. We're getting very close. Here at the North Pole, the elves have been working super hard to get all the presents ready for me to take to the kids on Christmas. And so excited today to get talking more about Star Wars content. And I know I'm late to the party. This was released almost a week ago, all the new content coming out for Star Wars in the upcoming years, but we're going to talk about it today. And Drew's Reviews, hello, good to have you here. And Dale, of course, Lord Vito, if you're still hanging out, good to have you here, thanks. And I saw also Park Outdoors, Mark Hamilton, thanks so much. Showing me only one person here right now. I suspect many will be back because the delayed start, instead of starting at 12, I went to 12:30 today, Eastern Standard Time. So a couple of things here. Yesterday marked the 3-year anniversary of the release of The Last Jedi. I saw that popping up on social media last night. There was a lot of Twitter posts about it, both positive and negative. Just my own position on it. It's my 5th favorite Star Wars movie of all time. That puts me in a sort of an in-between place. I know typically a lot of people say either you hate it or you aren't a fan. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. Mandalore the Reclaimer, hello, welcome. Good to have you here. And XR Coon, what's up? Thanks for joining. So for me, I like the Last Jedi a lot. And for those of you that have been around, Gray, thanks for stopping in. Good to see you. I appreciate you at least stopping in here to say hey. Really do appreciate it. For me, I've never been a prequel fan, and I still have problems with those movies. And at some point, I would love to get into a protracted discussion about it, just why those movies still bother me so much. And I'm of the original trilogy age group. I was 10 years old when that movie came out, and that's what got me started. Sir Nerd-A-Lot, hello, welcome, and good to have you here. And so for me, I'm still a little bit graded over George Lucas not giving me the movies I saw in theaters in a format that we can own and watch freely today. Of course, you can go get those from some of the projects out there that have despecialized, like Hermes and stuff like that, that's despecialized the original, but that's where I come from. And the prequels still kind of grate me the wrong way. And I love the sequels. I put them ahead of the prequels any day of the week. I love all 3 of those movies far more than I do the prequels. And even the one that most people put really high on the list, the Revenge of the Sith. So that one to me is just okay. It's the least offensive of the 3, but it still has some major issues in it that still bother me. So things like that. So anyway, that's me. I just thought I'd bring up that yesterday marked the 3-year anniversary of the Last Jedi, and I thought this was funny. I thought this was very funny that StarWars.com today, there's no mention of The Last Jedi on Star Wars YouTube page. Instead, they have celebrating 40 years of the Empire. So they're still going back to Empire Strikes Back. They don't want to get into the foray. They don't want to get into the spice. And I don't blame them. This fandom still hasn't healed largely over the sequel trilogy and The Last Jedi particularly. We know like Star Wars Theory, as well as many others, many others, have major issues with The Last Jedi. And I get it. I understand where it comes from. And StarWars.com or Star Wars YouTube just doesn't want to get into that. So there you go. So here we are. We want to talk about the floodgates being opened and all of this new content that's coming out. and there's some stuff going on today. I don't know if it'll come up here in the chat. We'll try to keep up with the chat. But as far as like what Josh was talking about this morning on the Den of Nerds, Callisto, hello, oh, welcome to have you here. Thank you so much. There's some speculation going on about the season finale. There's lots of people putting out their content today. I'd prefer to put it out tomorrow. And if you've been following along with us, Imagic Maker from Reimagining Star Wars and we do our prediction show every Thursday or at noon during my normal live stream, and we'll be talking about that tomorrow. Now, a Magic Maker is at Disney World right now with his daughter, his family, and they are enjoying. They're going to be at the Star Wars themed park on Friday. So on Mandalorian Day, they're going to be going to the studio's lot and going to be going to the Star Wars area. So there you go. Yeah, there's far too much to talk about. I will try to stay out of the chat. Thanks, Dale. That's good advice. So there is so much coming. There's some great stuff. So here we go. And I just went down the line with each of the announcements. The first here being Mandalorian season 3. Now they talked about it'll be coming in time for Christmas 2021, which leads me to believe that that'll be when the series kicks off, and it won't be like it is this year, where the season is concluding just in time for Christmas, but rather it'll be starting just in time for Christmas. So it looks like a little bit of a delay until we get into season 3, and I suspect we'll all be chomping at the bit, waiting for that first episode to drop. And through the holidays, it'll provide us quite a bit of content to discuss. So yeah, that's Mandalorian. Not a lot to talk about there until we get to this season finale, which is coming on Friday. And then we will certainly have lots to talk about with where we might be with season 3. Burke, hello. Oh, good to have you here. And then the next one, Ahsoka. So the Ahsoka, this has gotten a couple of interesting speculations already. And I put it on the quote that I got from StarWars.com. It's after making her long-awaited live-action debut in The Mandalorian. Ahsoka Tano's story, written by Dave Filoni, will continue a limited series starring Rosario Dawson. So interesting part here. There is a novel out called Ahsoka. And part of what I thought about was, would it be just taking the novelization and putting it to screen? And that's not entirely clear yet. There's some of the Ahsoka novel was covered in the Clone Wars season 7 in the finale there. There's some overlap with the Ahsoka novel, but then this picks up, and I don't know how much more overlap there'll be. The interesting part here is it says it's written by Dave Filoni. And so that this limited series is written by Dave Filoni means I'm curious. It's the novelization was not written by Dave Filoni. So very curious what that's going to do as far as novelization overlap goes. The other part is this logo. A lot of people have said it looks like the World Between Worlds. I'm not sure. To me, it looks like a star chart. And here's my speculation. There's something that, yes, Sir Nerdalot, the novel is canon. So my speculation on the Ahsoka series, I think Ezra and Thrawn are working together in the Chiss Ascendancy to fight back the Grisk. And a lot of people haven't kept up with the new Thrawn novels. They're still catching back to the original Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn back in the 90s. Well, that's a fantastic series, and we've seen like that Heir to the Empire story threads coming into The Mandalorian. And so there's a lot of speculation about the tie-in with Thrawn and that original Heir to the Empire. But I'm thinking about the new novelizations that are canon. Remember that the Heir to the Empire is now Legends material. The new Thrawn novels are canon, and so there's a lot of talk about the Vong. The Vong are part of the Legends. The Grisk are the enemy of the Chiss in the new. So if they're going to talk about the Grisk at all, it would be in that context, or the Vong. It would be the Grisk. If they're going to, canonize some of the Heir to the Empire novelization, if they're going to bring some of that in, then it would be the Grisk and not the Vong. And then if they come in, would it follow the same sort of storyline where Thrawn jumps back into the known space, the Star Wars universe as we know it, not the Chiss Ascendancy unknown regions? Would he jump in and start to try to take control, to try to beat back the Grisk? And if that's the case, if you read those novels, Thrawn is very much the protagonist, the good guy in those novels. And if Ezra is helping Thrawn, it's in a context of not being a bad guy, right? Ezra wouldn't be all of a sudden a Sith or evil. He would still be good and trying to help the Ascendancy fight back the Grisk. And so if that's what's going on and they come in, then they could all be working together. And I think Ahsoka and the crew of the Ghost from the Rebels animated series could all be brought into live action as it goes about this Chiss Grisk war, and that could very well be part of it. Gray, I know you don't like the idea of Thrawn being a protagonist. I don't think Ezra's working with Thrawn. Look at how bad the Magistrate was, ruining worlds and so many worlds for Thrawn. Could be. I still think that it could revolve. And here's the thing. The speculation that Josh Lucas has had about the tie-in between the Filoniverse and the sequel trilogy, I think bears some merit. If there is concurrent Chiss Grisk war going on that is taking a lot of resources and occupying a big portion of the other part of the galaxy or the unknown regions, there could be this dual storyline that goes on, and that dual storyline would then follow, the sequel trilogy arc, and and then you would also then have a parallel arc that is just the Chiss Grisk war. Now, it's not that we would have multiple, a multiverse kind of thing, or that they would retcon the sequel trilogy out of existence or throw it into another timeline using the world between worlds. It's that they would have these concurrent paths, and you don't have to retcon or throw into another universe or a alternate universe the sequel trilogy. It doesn't have to happen at all. It's just the people who prefer the Chiss Grisk war and the things that are going with Thrawn and the crew from the Rebels animated series, then that would fall in really well. And then the people that don't like the sequels can just ignore them. So there's that. That the enemy, my enemy is my friend. Right. That's exactly right, Drew. And remember, Thrawn, well, in the novels especially, but also in the Rebels animated series, Thrawn isn't really a emperor kind of evil force. He's a chaotic neutral, perhaps, but in the novels, he comes across very much as a Sherlock Holmes kind of guy, solving problems and defending the innocent. So he's actually championed innocence before. So he comes across as a good guy. And so I think it could definitely be something like that and set up this Chiss Ascendancy storyline that can be followed by people who absolutely despise the sequel trilogy. The Ahsoka series being a limited series, evidence of Mando will only last 4 seasons. Yes. Yep. I agree with you, Park Outdoors. And there's some, I have some dread over the Mandalorian ending because it's such a great series, but we also have a lot of other things to talk about. So with that being said, let's go on to the next one and talk about the Rangers of the New Republic. So the description here, set within the timeline of the Mandalorian. So we're concurrent, and this leads people to think that it could be involving the X-Wing pilots that have kind of come in and out. This very well could be the Cara Dune series that we've heard rumors of. But as I talked about earlier, Cara Dune isn't described as a ranger. She's described as a marshal. Marshals and rangers aren't necessarily the same thing. So Rangers of the New Republic, it's a live action series from Favreau Filoni, so part of the Filoniverse, and will intersect with future stories and culminate into a climactic story event. Now, what is the climactic story event? This is fantastic. This is kind of goes with a lot of what we talk about. Hey, the ambassador's with us this afternoon. Thanks for joining, Ambassador. Good to have you here. Appreciate the support. The Rangers of the New Republic culminating in a climactic story event is sort of what we've been talking about. The Filoniverse, a series of live action Disney Plus shows that culminate in perhaps a big movie. So I think that's absolutely what could happen. And might this movie be one of the projects that's already announced? Could it be either one of them? I don't know, because it doesn't seem like Taika Waititi's piece is set up to be that. So I'm not exactly sure that what that climactic story event will be, but it has the juices flowing. Again, this is just a great time to speculate. Yeah, right. Thrawn is evil, but if evil's required, right? And Rebels bomber, right? So he has acted on the Emperor's behalf, right? So definitely part of the Empire, which is not what we think of as the good guys. Marshals can become Rangers. Absolutely, they could. Absolutely, and Cobb Vanth could become a Ranger. Right. I'm really, really anxious to see where this is going and who these Rangers are going to be. Are they going to be X-Wing pilots? Are they going to be like the Marshals and Rangers like Cara Dune and Cobb Vanth? Or are they going to be other, something else? It's really hard to tell. Will the Night Owls become Rangers? I don't think so, XR Coon, but more Night Owl and Bo-Katan, I'm in for it. Let's see. Daniel Rickman reported that Disney gave Gina. Yeah, this is also being picked up by our friends who are part of the fandom menace, and when I see them starting to report on things, I start to question the authenticity of it. So I'll agree with that. So who knows, right? Very good. Yes, it is a fantastic time to be a Star Wars fan, Ambassador. This is perhaps the richest era of Star Wars content that we have ever had in my lifetime, and I cover the entire thing. So this is just a wonderful, wonderful time to be a Star Wars fan. Yeah. Horrible spelling. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So Rangers of the New Republic. Very exciting that it's going to be part of the Filoniverse. It's going to culminate in a climactic story event, which I believe is going to be a feature movie. And again, with the new direction at Lucasfilm Disney, it's hard to tell if this will be a theatrical release or, as we saw in the news this morning, it started to come out. It said that the Disney is trying to renegotiate contracts or come up with other contract language that would give better incentive for things that come out to the streaming services versus things that are theatrical releases. So it's the same incentives are there, just that it covers the different platforms. So that leads me to believe that it will be the it could very well go into the Disney Plus platform. Hey, Phil, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan. Good to have you here. Oh, Star Wars Vortex. Good to have you. Thanks for joining. Good to see you here. Yeah, we're going to get to some of these others too. Phil, Mike, yeah, if you haven't followed, I am a real bearded professional Santa Claus here in Central Ohio, and I can be seen out at different stores. Of course, now with the whole pandemic thing going on, there's face masks and shields and plexiglass involved, but yeah, I do virtual visits as well, as you see in the scroll at the bottom. So the next series to talk about, the next thing, is the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie or series, the limited series. And what has kind of picked up traction is this comment about Hayden Christensen, right? So it was confirmed Hayden Christensen will be returning as Darth Vader, and this is directed by Deborah Chow, who has done some fantastic work in the Filoniverse already with The Mandalorian. Have every expectation that Deborah will do a fantastic job with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And then there's all this speculation about, well, how's Hayden Christensen going to come into play as Darth Vader? And what's the point of having Hayden there if there are all these other possibilities? You could have actors like you do with the Mandalorian, right? You have other actors in the helmet. You could have other actors in the suit, and who's going to be the voice? If it's going to be Hayden, or might it be a voice modulation? There's tons and tons of speculation. And what's this business about the rematch of the century? So this here starts to get back into some issues that Star Wars fans start to argue about. And of course, we have the famous comments that talk about the last Obi-Wan in his address to Vader, right? The last time we met, or Vader's comment to Obi-Wan, last time we met, you were the master, I was the apprentice, that kind of thing. And then some of the other comments that lead that the last time Obi-Wan and Vader were face to face was on Mustafar, that we see in Revenge of the Sith. And so now, if we're going to get a rematch of the century, then it kind of breaks canon from that perspective. How do we get a rematch of the century if the last time they met was there? And I agree with Phil. The Force visions are the best way to go. Respects continuity in the lore, right? That's exactly what I'm talking about. That there's a lot of potential issues with Kenobi if they're going to truly meet face to face and have additional conflicts, battles, and that kind of thing. It really raises a lot of questions, and we'll just have to see how it all plays out. I'm not the one to come in glass half empty. I'll come in glass half full and say, hey, I'm optimistic. Deborah Chow does a great job. We've got Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau in the right place, making the right decisions right now. And the combination of all of that leads me very, very optimistic that this series, even with this quote, can be pulled off in a convincing and satisfying way. Do you think you'll see Grogu in Kenobi? I don't think so. I saw the same things, Burke. It causes problems. Grogu, if you do, it'll be a cameo. I don't see him having any significance. He shows up in the Mandalorian, and he's been missing, and there's these bounties out for him. So I really don't think that the timeline fits between Revenge of the Sith, when he was taken from the temple, and the Mandalorian for Grogu to be out and about. So Reefer Man, hello. Welcome. Good to have you here. oh my goodness, the things are going. Yeah, I hope it doesn't mess up A New Hope. If it's a mental battle and not face to face, fine. That could very well be the path they take. Ambassador, it's concerning, right? But again, I have trust in the people who are doing these things right now, and I have every confidence to believe that they're gonna give respect and honor the lore and the information that we already have. But I'll couch that with, we're very famous within the original trilogy, things being retconned with a simple phrase from a certain point of view. And all it takes is for them to say, Vader was saying that to Kenobi in A New Hope because fill in the blank. And they'll come up with a way to retcon it, and for them to have these other battles in between, and maybe explain it that at this point that Kenobi understands that Vader is Anakin, and that the time period of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, that he's not going to know that Vader was Anakin. And so it allows it to play out because Vader is going back to the last time that Obi-Wan knew he was Anakin. Who knows? It really does create some mental gymnastics that you have to jump through, but Star Wars is Star Wars, and they do that to us all the time. So it's not beyond me of thinking they might retcon something. Don't think we'll see a lot of Hayden in the mask. The thing about this, Drew, is that the James Earl Jones's voice, that voice modulator, exists in so many ways that they could easily do it without James Earl Jones. They could have Anakin as Vader rematch against Kenobi. It still makes sense. Yeah, they've got to make it work out, right? They really do have to make it work out. A Force Vision duel, right? There's so many different ways. We got to see how it all plays out. The argument that he was saved from Order 66 by Kenobi. Yeah, I don't know. Vader may find out more about Luke than ever lets on to the Emperor, playing the long game. Well, that very well could be. Is the eye. Oh, you know what? Good catch, Vortex. Oh, yeah, do you see that? The eye on Kenobi is Obi-Wan's lightsaber. That's a really good one. I had not noticed that. Really good catch there, Star Wars Vortex. Thank you for showing that to us. Here, let me bring that up so you guys can fully see it. You see that right there? That's really cool. Oh, very, very, very good. Well played. Yeah, to change the way you think about it. That's what happens with Star Wars, and that's what happens with the true retcons, right? So next show up, Andor. Here we go. This is the show that I've been wondering, why on earth are they making it? A show where we know the outcomes, a show where we know how this all plays out, and are the characters really somebody that we are that engaged with? But read the description. This is a tense, nail-biting spy thriller. Now, it's really cool that we start to get this, and we'll talk about it more with the Acolyte as well. But a spy thriller will be fun. Look, I'm all for giving us other kind of genres within the Star Wars universe, and a spy thriller would be fantastic. Even though we know the outcome of the characters, there will be events that happen within these that are going to be wonderful, right? Wonderful. Diego Luna reprising the role in the little teaser trailer they showed, the Sizzler reel. It looked great. The cinematography, the effects just look immaculate. So reasons to be excited just looking at that. And again, we get some really good information here. The cast is announced here as well. I'm mostly intrigued by the whole spy thriller aspect of it. And Gray, I absolutely agree with you. K2SO is one of my favorite characters. Give me more. As far as like a droid goes, the personality, the humor, the characteristics of K2SO, absolutely, absolutely my favorite. Very good. You guys, okay. All right. Yeah. It's being written by the person who wrote the Bourne movies. It's a spy thriller. Yeah, Park Outdoors. I didn't know that was the same person, but the Bourne movies are fantastic. So, this could be a lot of fun. And even though you know what happens to Cassian Andor, give me a spy thriller in the vein of the Bourne movies. Oh, sign Santa up. I'm all for it. The next one, Visions. Not a lot has been talked about this. It says it's a series of animated shorts through the lens of anime creators. There have been several animated short series out there, and some of them look very, very good. And don't forget that Resistance was supposed to be anime influenced, and it didn't get a lot of traction. And the shorts that have been out that again look really, really good. Haven't necessarily caught a lot of traction either. And so when I see this and I think about the reception of the other shorts and Resistance, I'm hesitant to jump on board with Visions. And when they say animated shorts, it's all about how they deliver it. And a lot of this kind of stuff they've been delivering in YouTube. So if they put it on the Star Wars YouTube Kids channel, it's not going to get a lot of eyeballs. It's not going to be a big hit. And they're talking about celebrating Star Wars through the lens of the world's best anime creators. So that's great. But at the same time, it's here, let's just finish reading. Collection would be 10 fantastic visions of several of the leading Japanese anime studios, offering a fresh and diverse cultural perspective to Star Wars. Look, I'm hopeful. I look forward to it. And as far as I'm concerned, if it gets other eyeballs on Star Wars that wouldn't normally look at it, especially when you start to talk about anime fans, perhaps getting more of the Asian market interested in Star Wars, if this becomes a venue for them to, want them to get more, then I'm all for it. And even though it may not be specifically for me or for many Star Wars fans, it could be an avenue to bring in new fans. And so, sounds great. Sounds great. Right, Phil. It was not the best. Yeah, I agree. It was It wasn't terrible. Not terrible at all. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah, I agree, Vortex. It'll see what the audience enjoys. Absolutely. Well, a different animated style. We're going to get a different animator, a different anime creator, each one. And certainly you have fans of each of those artists that will be drawn in. And so they're just trying to cast a broad net, and that's fine. That's fine. I think it's great. Next one, the Acolyte. Here we go. You ready? Brace yourself. Oh, we're getting all kinds of drama around this series already. I've already started to see the detractors come out in force regarding the Acolyte. Here we go. That's the Leslie Headland series. And of course, we heard months ago that the Leslie Headland series was supposed to be female-centric, which means the Acolyte here is likely a female. Could it be a Night Sister? Could it be somebody of that type? Absolutely. And I am, again, excited because of the description. It says the Acolyte is a mystery thriller. Oh, boy. So we've already had one in when we talk about the Andor series being a subgenre within Star Wars. Here we get another one. This is a mystery thriller that takes the audience into a galaxy of shadowy secrets. emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. Here we go. There's Phil, you're touching base on one of the complaints that I've seen is much like Obi-Wan Kenobi when they talk about the rematch of the century or whatever, the epic rematch. Here we go with the quote in Phantom Menace where they talked about the Sith being extinct or they haven't been seen in 1,000 years. And there's a couple of quotes in there. And it involves Yoda, it involves Mace Windu, and forgetting the other dude's name right now. But that being the case, there's some speculation that, well, it shouldn't be Sith. And if it is an acolyte, and what we see here in the art is this red slash, or this slash that goes through this red logo, it leads you to believe like a lightsaber is involved. And would a lightsaber? No, it's not Plo Koon, Phil. I'll have to see what it is. Yeah, I'm just not sure. Like a lightsaber is not necessarily a specific weapon to Jedi and Sith. And I'll go back and remind folks, if you've watched the Clone Wars animated series, the Night Sisters disguised themselves as Jedi, and they were like invisible for a while, right? You remember that? They were invisible and they went and they attacked Dooku, and part of that involved them wielding lightsabers. Lightsaber is a weapon that is most effectively used by a Force user like a Jedi or Sith, but it's not a weapon that's exclusive to Jedi or Sith. It's a weapon that can be wielded with some amount of competency by non-Force users. Take, for example, General Grievous, or take there's the case where Cad Bane uses it against Obi-Wan Kenobi for a brief time. And Cad Bane isn't a Force user, neither is General Grievous. Now, both have been trained with different things. Yeah, there you go. Kaiamundi. That's who it was. Yep. Phil, very good. So could the Acolyte be a Acolyte of the Sith, or could it be a other kind of dark disciple? Could it be a Acolyte of the Beyond? Could it be a number of things? And then the argument goes to, if it's going to be a Sith, and it's set 100 years before the Phantom Menace, then we know that in Legends, at least now, as it stands, then you've got Plagueis tooling around somewhere, right? So Plagueis was born somewhere 150 to 120 BBY, and 100 years before would put Plagueis into his 20s, 30s, 40s, something like that. And right at the point where he's starting to emerge as a Sith apprentice, could the Acolyte be one of his apprentices? Well, there's all kinds of argument about Plagueis not taking another apprentice other than Palpatine. And Palpatine was the only one he ever had. And if this Acolyte is somebody who was attached in any way to Plagueis, then it breaks some of the lore. If the Acolyte is out there monkeying around as a bit of a terrorist type on her own, or under some discreet covert communications from Plagueis or someone of that ilk, then it starts to raise the potential of exposing the Sith to existence. And if they're not supposed to exist for 1,000 years, if they've been hiding, then it's a very kind of risky kind of thing to put an Acolyte out there doing things. So that becomes lots and lots of problems, and that people are worried about. And I put it the same way I do with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. There are certain things to worry about, sure. There are certain things in canon and in lore that we have today that could get retconned as a consequence of these things. But it's very possible if done well, then there's no reason to get up in arms and already start fighting about it. And folks, these people are coming out already fighting about it. I had a protracted argument the other day with somebody on Star Wars Only's Discord about this. There's a lot of concern. And when it goes from concern, you should have, I think that's fair, with both of these series, Kenobi and Acolyte, that we also have to say that we know the recent activity with Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and trying to establish continuity in the Filoniverse, that the Acolyte is in good hands. And Leslie Headland, as far as she's involved, that storyline could be very well done. And as being a mystery thriller, I'm excited. Again, really, really excited to see this, right? Star Wars Vortex. Yeah, if they didn't know about him and they were wrong about him being completely extinct. Right. As long as the Acolyte isn't exposed as a Sith, even if she is, then it very well could be Acolyte of the Beyond. Now, the thing about the Acolytes of the Beyond, that phrase came out in The Rise of Skywalker, which is way, way, way after when the Acolyte would be set. So you might be going all the way back to the beginnings of the Acolyte of the Beyond. So very well could be Night Sisters. Very well could be Night Sisters. Yeah, Plagueis in his prime. Yeah, very well could be. And if they decide to bring Plagueis in, like anytime you bring up anything, everybody always says Plagueis. He always ends up being somebody's speculation. We'll have to see. I don't know how much they're going to bring him in. We know he's canonized because of the famous quote of Palpatine, right? Darth Plagueis the Wise. So there you go. Right. There's stuff in the new High Republic books, which I'm really looking forward to getting into. I got a pre-order offer today to order some of those books, and I'd rather get them digitally, so I have to wait. Mark, female-centric was a quote from a trade, right? But it was kind of given. It's one of the reputable trades. It's not one of these, off brands. Surprise, still triggered, right? Right. It triggers people. There are certain words that you got to be really careful about. Yeah, hoping to see Plagueis. And this could be the opportunity to bring him in. Again, you got to be careful, right? Because the Sith have been gone for 1,000 years. But Plagueis, if you go along with the novel, was alive during that time when the Sith were supposed to not exist. Of course, Plagueis wasn't out there with a lightsaber dueling and causing havoc where it looks like this Acolyte might be. But again, if it's channeling information backdoor, and here again, the argument is if you get somebody out there with a lightsaber, a red, green, blue, yellow, whatever, and they're causing havoc, then don't you risk exposing. And my thought was, what if they're trying to do much like the Night Sisters did in the Clone Wars animated series? They were trying to mislead by making him think he was being attacked by Jedi when he was really being attacked by Night Sisters. And if this Force user is not using a red blade, or would even anybody know what a red blade means at this point? If the Sith have been extinct for 1,000 years, and so we're around 900 years of their extinction, somebody sees a red blade, would they associate it with Sith, or would they associate it with, oh, that's one of those Jedi weapons, and trying to put at some question or mistrust of people of the Jedi. And if it's not a red lightsaber, it could be another color lightsaber. Just because the logo is red and you see the slash going through it doesn't mean that the slash was put there by a red saber. What if the saber is green or blue, right? It's a normal color saber, and they're trying to lead mistrust of the Jedi, and Plagueis is actually behind trying to break down the trust of the Jedi. Now, the Jedi would certainly be investigating. As you start to talk about a mystery thriller, there's got to be a protagonist, somebody who's out there trying to uncover them and try to figure it out. But if they never figure out it was a Sith and they never connect it to Plagueis, then you don't necessarily break that line from the Phantom Menace or from the prequels, right? In current canon, Vader doesn't have an apprentice, but in Legends, Vader had a secret apprentice. That's exactly. So it could be a secret apprentice of Plagueis, or not even an apprentice, right? Apprentice and Acolyte aren't necessarily mutually the same term, right? They're not parallel. So it could be anything. Okay, so Acolyte, I'm super stoked about it. Super excited about the Acolyte. I think it could be a wonderful series. The Bad Batch. So here we go. This is the A Team, right? So there's if you're from the 80s, 90s, you remember that series. This is the A Team. It's exactly the premise of the A Team. It's got the same makeup as the A Team. If you go back and you watch Mr. T and all of the actions of the A Team, it's exactly they were elite mercenary force. Go back and look at the intro to the A Team series. Again, if you're too young or you weren't involved with that series, you could catch it online. And it talks about them being an elite mercenary force and going out and doing things. Oh my goodness. I am awestruck at the moment. Honored, absolutely honored to have Girls with Sabers here to say hi. Wow. I love Girls with Sabers. Just have to tell you guys, I am a super fan of theirs. I am not, I'm not a Raylo, but I love Girls with Sabers and the content they put out. Oh my goodness. Thanks so much for stopping in. You girls, I'm one of their patrons. I wish I could give them more on Patreon, and I wish I could follow them more. But I encourage you, if you like Raylo content, go search them out. You should already know who they are. If you're not a Raylo and you like giving Raylos a hard time in a fun Star Wars family way, join me in telling them that Finn Ray is a much better option for them, right? Oh, Santa loves giving them a hard time, and I love the work they do. Trinity, welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. So, Bad Batch. This is the A Team. This is exactly what it is. It's a group of mercenaries, elite mercenary forces, trying to find their way in the galaxy. So, I'm excited about seeing the Bad Batch continue. It's a great series. So looking forward to that as well. And that's one of the animated. So I had always heard there was 3 animated series in the work at Lucasfilm. One of them being the Bad Batch. We knew that. We have also seen then that other series that we just talked about, Visions, being an animated work. And then the third one I always thought was going to be the Search for Ezra Bridger, but I'm not so sure because it wasn't brought up. So there's that. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Those are great. They're a great channel. They're doing great stuff. So Lando, this one has me baffled. I'm a supporter of this Make Solo 2 happen kind of movement. I would very much like to see that series continued in perhaps a limited run on Disney Plus without necessarily making the movies. And it seems this Lando spinoff could very well be that. It says everyone's favorite scoundrel. Now, scoundrel is typically associated with Han Solo, but I think it fits with Lando. Will return in a brand new event series for Disney Plus. Justin Simeon. I'm not familiar with the show Dear White People, but he's a huge Star Wars fan. He's going to develop the series. I look forward to seeing it. Now, I've heard some speculations that they haven't confirmed who is portraying Lando. If it's going to be Billy D or if it's going to be the other guy. I don't know. Or might both of them be involved? It'd be curious to see where they're going with this, and if we might get some crossover to Kira and Han as regular appearing guests in the show. It'd be really, really good. Yes, Park Outdoors. I'm absolutely with you. There's a lot of potential if they drive into the Crimson Dawn in the smuggling world. I want that series. I want to learn about the Crimson Dawn. I want to follow Maul and find out what he's doing in Kira, right? Donald Glover and Billy D, hopefully both of them. But if Billy D's involved, it might connect more to the sequel trilogy. But Donald Glover could absolutely continue on with some of this speculation, or following the Crimson Dawn and that smuggling group. Absolutely. And I'm with you, Phil, about excited and skeptical. That's me. Oh boy. Lando tells, right, here you go, Dale. Dale's exactly right. Dale is Lando's telling Jannah his Calrissian Chronicles while they look for her parents. That would be a great storytelling method, and would be wonderful way to explore Lando's younger life in different stages, different events, different journeys he went on. I think it could be absolutely wonderful, but also I'm worried. I'd like to see more. Now here's the next one. This one, this is a movie. So this is Rogue Squadron. Patty Jenkins, Wonder Woman of fame, right? Patty Jenkins is, she released a little short video about it. And her dad was an F-4 Phantom pilot, and he died in service to the United States military. And here she gets to tell this. It's a new generation of starfighter pilots. So what generation would this be? As they earned their wings, so that we're talking about some who are maybe trainees, maybe a Top Gun kind of idea, and risk their lives in a boundary-pushing, high-speed thrill ride and move the saga into the future era of the galaxy. Again, this has raised some questions about what is the future era of the galaxy. Is this post-Rise? Is this post-sequel trilogy? Is this somehow connected to, the future of the franchise beyond that? Or they talk about future of the galaxy, future from a retro perspective, right? So if you're going back to the original trilogy, the future after the original trilogy, hard to say. The confusing part is the X-Wing model put in here, and this X-Wing model doesn't fit with the sequel trilogy era X-Wings. This is original trilogy X-Wings. And if that's the case, what is this future era? I know Josh Lucas has said it could be post-Rise, but the X-Wing issue is an issue. Oh, I don't know how you resolve it. I don't know where it fits in. I know I am super stoked about Patty Jenkins. I'm super stoked about getting this sort of, in my mind, it's going to be a Top Gun kind of series, and what she's going to, or movie, and what she's going to do with this this era. So fascinated by it. Let's see what Girls with Sabers has it. There's a rumor that they were developing series with Donald Glover and Alden. Right. Makes sense. Lando would be the result of that. I completely agree. And I'd heard that as well. And that's why I've been kind of following the Solo 2 stuff. And I was hoping that we'd get more about that, but what we didn't. Has good to her. Yes, it has a strong connection to her emotionally. It will be good. I completely agree, Vortex. I'm just curious about where it's going to happen, right? So there we go. That's Rogue Squadron. I couldn't be happier about this movie coming out. The next one. Now, this one, it hasn't got a lot of talk because they just barely introduced it. It's a feature film, right? It's a Star Wars feature with acclaimed filmmaker Taika Waititi. Its approach to Star Wars be fresh, unexpected, and unique. Wow, it's a thrill ride, unforgettable ride. And I heard Josh talk about it with Star Wars Theory Monday night, and there's some breadcrumbs there that lead us to maybe think it could go back to the beginnings of Tython, even going way back. And when you look at that logo being like a Schoolhouse Rock or dinosaurs kind of with the crumbling rocks on there, it could go back to, yes, Dawn of the Jedi. Exactly, Mark. It could go very well back to Dawn of the Jedi. And it's a fresh new look. and is supposed to be. It says his fresh, unexpected, and unique. I'm intrigued. I want to know more, and hopefully we'll get more on that soon. And then droid story. This is the one I might be least optimistic on. I come from the days where we had Star Wars Droids, the animated series, and here's the third one that involves some animation. And I'm not exactly sure what they mean, right? So you read, says the intersection of animation and visual effects offers new opportunities to explore. So it's going to be an epic journey introduces to a new hero. Now, I've not heard people talk about who this new hero might be, guided by legendary duo R2 and C-3PO. Now, if R2 and C-3PO are together, that didn't happen until the prequels. And more specifically, A New Hope, when they were really paired together. But some in the prequels as well. But who's this new hero? We really cover R2 and C-3PO all the way through the prequel and original trilogy era, and also the sequel trilogy. We know who they are. So is this going to be in between? Is this going to fall into the Filoniverse era? And it's a combination. So we'll be retelling like C-3PO and R2-D2 fireside stories. And who is this new hero? What era does the new hero fall into? Is this going to be, in this Filoniverse era? Is this post-Rise era? We know R2 and C-3PO are certainly around post-Rise. That could very well be in that era. And if it's a new hero, that leads us to believe it's not Finn or Rey or Finn-Rey. Couldn't help but put that in there for our good friends, Girls with Sabers. You don't know. And who could it be? Could it be young Ben as a kid, as a new hero? I don't know. And Gray, the only reason I'm not very excited is because that Droids animated series was not good. If you didn't see it back in the day, not good. Snap Wexley. Snap Wexley would be really good. The reason that fits in is because he does appear in Rise, and a lot of people don't know him. If you've watched him in the or if you follow these stories in the novels, Snap Wexley is a fantastic character, and his droid, Mr. Bones, would be a wonderful inclusion into the Star Wars universe. Introduce other people to him. Very much would love to see Snap Wexley. Gray, I give you bonus points for that one. That's very, very good. Main issue with the sequel trilogy is Disney wanted us to enjoy. Right, Phil, they've got to catch up. They do have to catch up. And they did that with the prequel trilogy as well. And this Filoniverse era falls right into the right place. It's a sweet spot for them to start building that. And Reefer Man, yes. Mr. Bones, yes, please, right? So Snap's one of his favorite parts of the Aftermath book. Well, not only is Snap in those Aftermath books, but he's in some of the other books as well. And he is a great droid. A wonderful droid. If you're not familiar with Mr. Bones, he's a reworked battle droid from the prequel era, right? The Roger guys, right? Those guys. And Mr. Bones is just a terrific character, and quite competent versus what you would see in a battle droid. So it would be really good to see that, see him brought in. And that finishes the speculation there. So what did we not get? Well, we didn't get any news of Solo 2, right? The closest we got was Lando. That we didn't get any news of the Boba Fett series. Now, let me talk about Boba Fett series for a little bit. It was already rumored that production had begun on Boba Fett series. Why wasn't it announced? In some folks have kind of said, we don't know what you're talking about in Boba Fett series. Some people who should know. And so is there a possibility that the Boba Fett series was not a series ever? And that what people were seeing, people were putting, one and one together and they were coming up with 3 versus 2. So if you saw Tamora Morrison and you saw Boba Fett, in suit, showing up on set quite a bit, you could make the leap to, oh, we see a Boba Fett series in action, but we've also heard this wonderful series, the rumor that Boba Fett's going to be heavily involved in season 3 of The Mandalorian. So if Boba Fett, if what they saw and what they were putting one and one together was actually season 3 of The Mandalorian, and its production on that has already begun versus a whole different series, Boba Fett, then you could see where perhaps people got those lines crossed and they were just speculating about something versus something that actually happened. So, Gray, fracking. So there you go. There's a Battlestar Galactica reference. That's really good. Thanks, Gray. I like that. Lando's supposed to be the answer solo too. Yeah, I hope so too. I agree with you. Gray, I'm working on a video series about interludes and aftermath. Yes, you did a good start of that. The aftermath is so underappreciated. My next play, so I've listened to Aftermath series several times as well. I want to get it now in digital format to read, and just to take it in another format. So we didn't get any news of a Boba Fett series. We didn't get any news of a Solo 2 by name. We also didn't get the search for Ezra Bridger or this Rebels follow-up animated series. And that has us all perplexed. What's going on with all these rumors we had? Remember, there was also a huge rumor about a Darth Bane. Now, this came out a couple months ago. People were just doing YouTube video after YouTube video on a Darth Bane series. And I remembered that Josh had our good friend, why did I lose his name all of a sudden? The regular that's on there now with Josh doing lore videos. Lord Callis. Lord Callis did a great segment on Josh's morning stream about Lord Callis and Darth Bane, and really, really informative. So there's a lot of speculation about Darth Bane and what happened to that speculation. Gone. So might there be other works out there? And there are other rumors that are speculating all the time. And I think that Lucasfilm has been doing a really good job of like throwing little seeds out there for people to run with. And then they start trying to propagate and figure out what's this seed going to grow up into. And so I'm really, really curious about some of these other rumors, and might there be additional works? And another point that I've learned just from watching, John, wait a minute. John starts with Campia. John Campia, is that studios often have a whole list of projects, but that doesn't mean those projects are going to see the light of day. They're ideas, and then maybe they've got a team of people, 3 or 4 writers, artists, whatever, together on a team to kind of flesh out a story arc or a proposal for a series, and then maybe those never get the light of day, or they end up being morphed into something else. And I absolutely be the case with some of those series as well, which is exciting because Acolyte could involve Darth Bane. Maybe, who knows? There's lots of potential, right? Reefer Man is going to do a full movie scene reaction to Star Wars Squadron video game. Oh, very good. I look forward to that, Reefer Man. Very good. Will, hello. Den is decapitated. Boba trains Grogu. You're going off of that toy. I think it's possible Den could die. When we talk about Rest in Peace, that music score, who are they talking about? And when you talk about Boba Fett being highly featured in season 3 of The Mandalorian, but that'd be tough to do because The Mandalorian now is associated with Din. They are the same. The Mandalorian is Din Djarin. In context of the series, and to try to redefine the series under different Mandalorians, being Boba Fett or Bo-Katan or Sabine Wren, or who knows, because it's a little bit tough. I'm not really sure. Aftermath trilogy is a must read. I agree. I absolutely agree. Callisto, meaning to read the books. Maybe I should get the audio. Oh, Callisto, do it. Do it. Get those on audio. However, whatever your preferred method is. I've listened to them from public library for free several times, and they are tremendous. Do it. Bo-Katan should return for season finale. Oh, we'll talk about some of that. Good dark side with a purpose. Dale, I'm not a fan of that idea of seeing an innocent or a hero go full dark side. Much the line of what's his name? There's there's somebody that they keep wanting to get brought into canon. He's been already floated, and Keanu Reeves has been floated as being the guy to play him. And I could just draw on a blank on his name right now. Darth. You guys will get it to me. Where he did go from Jedi to Sith back to Jedi. But everybody wants everybody to do that. And I'm just not a fan of that. I hope to see Karga pull a good guy turn bad guy good. Karga could very well be that. If he dies, we think he dies, but he's the next big bad. No, Dale. No. I veto your idea. Boba ending up with Grogu because his meltdown for the loss. I think more likely we'll see Boba, his full redemption through sacrificing himself to save Grogu and Din. I absolutely think that might be. And I do think Bo-Katan will show up at some point. Darth Revan. That's it. You guys got it. Darth Revan. Revan has that story arc that Dale wants to see so bad. That's what I would go for. So, folks, that's it. I made it through all of the content that was released. We kind of touched base on all of it. Look, for the most part, I'm really excited. And some of these things people haven't really talked about much, like with the droids. Who is the new hero? What might it be? I've seen no traction on that at all. And I think there could be some exciting opportunity there. And that might be what Josh wants more about going into the future. With droids having lifespans of indefinite period of time, it could definitely be that. Yeah, I don't think Din will die. Yeah, I don't think he will either. Just to give you guys a little taste for something I hope to get out later today. Not only do I have one box now, I've got 2 boxes. We've got toys in here. So I'll be doing an unboxing and of those hopefully later today. That'll be a recorded. I won't do that live stream. And then tomorrow's the big preview. What are our guesses, our predictions for the final episode of season 2, chapter 16? And a Magic Maker and I will be trying to get something out tomorrow. Now, again, a Magic Maker is at Disney World right now. And so we've got to kind of work our schedules together. That actually might end up being recorded, and we'll put it out as a premiere release, and I'll be in the chat. We'll have to see how well I can coordinate with a Magic Maker while he's at Disney World with his family. Certainly don't want him to be taking time away from his family as they're enjoying that environment. So hopefully we can get that out for you tomorrow. I have some thoughts, and if a Magic Maker does a recorded segment that we add in, then we could do that, and then I can live stream the rest. So hope you all have, it's been great. Again, we've had a wonderful, wonderful community here today. I've loved the chat. You guys have been great. And I can't wait for these new series to get more information we'll be able to talk about for a long time coming. And as Ambassador said earlier, this is a great time to be a Star Wars fan. So thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and can't wait to talk to you more tomorrow. Until then, Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye-bye.